Hello and welcome to the Paramedic Lifting Circuit. This video will demonstrate the steps necessary for successful completion of the lifting requirements for this program. Part 1 is using the stair chair, also known as the lifting chair, as it can be used for situations not involving stairs. Using proper body mechanics and safe communication strategies, you'll be required to lift the mannequin both from the head end and the foot end of the stair chair. As you begin your lift, please ensure that you make eye contact with your partner. What you don't hear in this video is the student at the head end will now be saying step, step, step as they ascend the staircase. At this point, you're going to trade places with your partner to continue with the ascent. Just a reminder to continue to communicate with your partner in the form of step, 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 and that's the person at the head end to begin with. Once you've changed places, you'll begin the descent, and you'll notice that there is a handle that comes out of the top of the stair chair here up at the head end. We already spoke about the foot end being adjustable. Well, the descent requires you to use this handle that comes out of the top, and both students have adjusted their settings appropriately for their lift down. It's not as much a lift as it is a guide because the track is doing most of the work. Nonetheless, it's an essential component of this circuit, and so you'll be required to know how to do that. It's important to note at this stage that if you're going to use all four wheels to roll the stair chair, you have to put the foot handles in because of the angle of those handles when they come out. So if you want to use four wheels, make sure you put those in. In this case, the students chose to use two wheels, and they're just tipping the person back or the mannequin back and getting ready for the final descent. So once they've traded places, they will begin their final descent, and note the spotters are maintaining their positions. In this case, you'll see that the spotter's got her hand near the back of the bottom student, the foot end. And again, it's not so much a lift as it is a guide down the stairs, but it has to be safe and smooth. What we want to see is the chair not bouncing step to step, and so that takes a bit of practice to angle it properly. Again, once you get to the bottom, you'll want to put those handles in if you're going to use all four wheels, as they do tend to hit off the ground. And prepare for part 2. Part 2 is compressions, and the expectation for this component is that you will perform high quality CPR compressions for 2 minutes. What does that mean? That means the appropriate depth and rate, and you will look to meet the current guidelines of the American Heart Association, so in terms of that rate and depth, which may change over time. We're not going to capture all 2 minutes in this video, but certainly you'll be required to do that. Part 3 is a mannequin lift and carry, whereby you will carry a mannequin that is secured to a breakaway stretcher, also known as a scoop stretcher, to a waiting operational stretcher that's used daily by paramedics. Once placed on that stretcher and properly secured, you'll proceed to step 4, which is the porch lift. The fourth and typically most difficult stage is the porch lift. At this stage, you'll be required to lift the mannequin the breakaway stretcher and the operational stretcher up a small set of stairs. You'll notice the paramedic students have dropped the stretcher so as to allow the carriage to clear the stairs during the ascent and descent. The same communication applies during this lift as does any other lift. The person at the foot end would now be step, 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 etc. And the spotters are there to help you as well. Do not trade places at this point because you'll get an opportunity to do this lift once again. The spotter, you'll note here now, is going to back up the person at the foot end to the edge of the stairs. Again, this is for your safety. And then you'll begin the descent. Step, step, etc.
Step, step.
Now they've traded places and Jennifer is at the head of the stretcher, and you'll watch Brianna back her up to the first step. We don't want her to trip over the first step, so Brianna has backed her up. And Lee is keeping an eye, who is the back spotter. She's keeping an eye on Braden as he gets approaching the step there. You'll see you can't hear, but she's communicating that to him. And they'll begin the lift up. The reverse will be true when they descend. Lee will back Braden up to the first step, and we're going to watch this. Okay, keep a close eye on Lee there. She's backing him up. You can't see, but that's what she's doing. She's notifying them as to where the edge of the step is. Same with Brianna at the top, notifying Jen that she's approaching the first step. The key is to be safe. The fifth and final part is the ambulance load and unload. You're going to begin by raising the stretcher to loading height, and you're going to adhere to all the safety practices that you have learned for this process at this stage of the test.
Just come back a little. Okay. Yeah, got it. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Important step here is that you have your hand on the carriage as the stretcher is coming out. That way it does not fall to the ground. And you're going to lower down a couple of notches to prepare for the next round. You'll change places, and you'll complete this whole step over again. We're going to show you the locking mechanisms up close here.
Back. Okay, good. Can you pull it towards you a little again? Yep. Come on, 3. 1,
First part.
3.
And then you'll see Jen will nicely lock the stretcher in place here.
Okay, good.
I'd like to thank all those who participated in the creation of this amateur video to show you the lifting circuit for the paramedic program. Thank you.